Hey, like Kamaya, I'm so proud of you, even though I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. And okay, so I'll just give like a quick little snippet. So like me and my parents, I know this sounds like cliche, but after they had my siblings, that's when like me and my parents really didn't get along. And then
Mhm.
I think it was mainly because of they had like a lot of problems. So like my dad was like really like verbally, physically abusive to my mom and stuff. So I just kind of knew like, okay, like she's not gonna leave. So as soon as I turned 18, like I'm just gonna leave. And this is like things like probably like 16, 17, 18, like was probably like the worst years with them. So like I would like go spend the night at my grandparents' house, or like the person I was dating, I would like stay at their house a lot. So I kind of felt like, okay, like, well, how do I leave because I don't get along with them, and like this household is toxic. So my thing was like, okay, like kind of just go to school. So I left for school at 18, and then like I was staying in Irvine at UCI. So I was staying in dorms, etc. And then like I was a RA to like help pay for dorm fees. And then COVID happened. So when COVID happened, the person I was dating at the time was like, oh, like, come live with me. And because we were like, we weren't forced out of our dorms, but it was like a lot of speculations and just like a lot of things that kind of like made us forced out of our dorms due to COVID. It was like you had to have like very valid reasons to still be in the dorms, in which like mine kind of didn't qualify, and like my RA was coming to an end, and they weren't going to like renew it because like they were under the impression they were closing due to COVID. So I moved in with him, and like we were fine just up until I moved in. So like when I moved in, like the whole dynamic changed. Just like a lot of like domestic violence, just like there'd be bruises on me all the time, and I kind of just didn't say anything because at the time I felt like I had no choice, because like, okay, where am I going to go? So like kind of just like be here, save up till you like figure it out. But it just got so bad to the point where like I was like extremely depressed. I wanted to kill myself. So I felt like, okay, like this is too much. So I would spend a night at like my friend's house, but I felt like I couldn't do it to a point where it's like weeks or multiple days, because then it's like, oh, like what's going on? So I would like spend a night at a friend's house maybe for like 2 nights, and then like sleep in my car for like another 2 nights. And then like I kind of knew his work schedule. So if he wasn't there, like I would go home, shower, and then like be like, okay, like tomorrow either I'm gonna spend the night at somebody's house, or like I'm gonna sleep in my car. So it was kind of that for about 2 months. And then I just really began to like hate myself, begin to like hate life. I was just extremely unhappy. So I kind of stopped going to work, and my supervisor asked what was going on. And I just told her because at the point, I didn't want to go to work, I didn't want to do anything. So I kind of just told my supervisor what was going on. And then she suggested that I started making police reports. So I started making police reports, but when I tell you, like the police would say things like the first time I ever called the police told me, "Oh, like like maybe you or him should just find somewhere to sleep for the night, and like you guys are young, like you guys are fine, like like couples argue." Even when I would show them bruises, they would tell me like, "Oh, well, he said that he didn't do it, so we can't really take him in for something that he's saying that he didn't do." And then like it was really like that was a mess. So then one time, like the second time the police came, I told them like I can't do that. Like I can't just leave for the night because I have nowhere to go. And I explained that to them, and then that night they was like, okay, well, like is he able to leave for nights? I guess he left that night. And that night I just like Googled like homeless resources, like what could I do, what could I do, what could I do. And then I kind of didn't want to tell, like me and my parents relationship was already not good, like barely speaking to them. So then on top of that, I didn't want to tell them like, oh well, like I moved in with a guy, so and this is going on, so it looks like I'm gonna have to come back to you guys. And like my parents are just like extremely like judgmental, and like I can already hear how dumb I was gonna get caught and how I was never gonna like hear the last of it. So when I was Googling resources and stuff, I just wanted something said like, if you're experiencing homelessness, call 211. So I just called 211, and then like I just basically explained to them everything. I explained to them like, like I've called police, like this is what I'm going through and this and this. And then they sent me, they gave me like a bunch of resources that was like based on the zip code that I lived in, and then based on my parents' zip code. And one of the resources was Sanctuary of Hope. So when I first came to Sanctuary of Hope, like that night before, I literally slept in my car, and I didn't know like what the program was. The first person I talked to, I just like kind of like cried and told them everything, because that was my first time crying and like letting everything out, just letting it all be on the table. And they told me what the person I talked to told me. He said that the best thing I could do right now is at least try to fix something with my parents. So in my eyes, there was no fixing, but with the help of my son, which is like one of the staff there, he basically set up like a meeting for me and my mom, and I was able to just like tell my mom the truth about everything, like with him kind of guiding the conversation, and just kind of like create an open space to let her know that like I needed her, and like this is right. She doesn't know anything that's been taking place for like the last 2 years. Like she only know like what I tell her. So just creating that space of me, letting her know like I have nowhere to go. This is what's been going on. Like this is how I've been living. This is like the situation in the house that I've been living in. Like I've been sleeping in my car sometimes. I've been spending night at people's house sometimes, and just like kind of letting her know all of that, so home can be, my parents' house can be a resource for me. So that's kind of the snippet of like my story and what I'm currently going through.